You woke up this morning, that means one thing. You've been given another chance to create, a chance to think greater than your environment, greater than your body, greater than time. The question is, what reality will you design today? When you wake up and declare, today, I am the creator of my reality, you're stepping into one of the most powerful truths available to human consciousness. Most people live as if life is happening to them. They react to circumstances, replay old memories, and stay locked in a predictable future based on their past. But the moment you recognize that you are the one generating your thoughts, emotions, and actions, you take your power back. Every thought you think is a signal you're sending out into the quantum field. Every emotion you feel is drawing an experience back to you. When you choose your thoughts deliberately, when you break free from automatic mental patterns, you're no longer living unconsciously, you're creating consciously. And that is the essence of stepping into the role of the creator. This isn't about wishful thinking or forcing life to happen a certain way. It's about aligning your inner world, your intentions, your beliefs, your emotional state with the kind of life you want to live. Because the outer world is simply a reflection of the inner. To say, I am the creator, is to accept responsibility without blame and power without ego. It means understanding that your future isn't written in your DNA or trapped in your history. It's being formed right now in this moment by the energy you bring to your day. So when you repeat this affirmation, say it like you mean it. Because it's not just a phrase, it's a truth that once felt begins to reshape your entire life when you declare, I align my energy with the future I desire. You're not just repeating words, you're initiating a transformation in your state of being. Most people wait for the future to arrive before they feel the emotions they long for. They say, I'll feel successful when I get the job, or I'll feel love when I meet the right person. But the reality is, waiting puts you in a state of lack, and lack keeps you bound to the past. To truly align with your future, you must first feel the emotions that your desired future would bring. If you want to experience freedom, begin to feel free now. If you want to manifest abundance, generate the feeling of abundance in this moment. Your body is the unconscious mind. It doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. So when you teach it what your future feels like, you begin to condition it to that reality before it even arrives. Energy is frequency. When you emotionally embody your desired feat, and when your energy matches the energy of your vision, you start to draw experiences to you, not by force, but by resonance. This is not fantasy or magic. This is neuroplasticity and the laws of quantum physics in action. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. So aligning your energy means becoming emotionally and mentally coherent with the future you're creating. It means living from the end as if it's already happened. That's when life begins to organize itself in ways you couldn't predict, because you've moved out of survival and into creation. You've shifted from hoping to knowing. And that knowing is the true signal that pulls your future into the present. The affirmation, I am greater than my past, greater than my body, greater than time, is a powerful declaration of freedom. It is a reminder that your identity is not rooted in who you've been, what you've experienced, or even the physical limitations you may currently perceive. Most people define themselves by past events, by trauma, by stories they've told themselves for years. They say, this is just who I am, not realizing that this identity is often a collection of memories tied to emotion, repeated so often that it became automatic. But that past version of you doesn't have to dictate your future. You are not your memories. You are not your biology. You are consciousness, pure awareness. And you have the capacity to rise above the old programs running in your mind and body. The body memorizes emotions like fear, guilt, unworthiness, and over time those emotions become habits. The body becomes the mind, and your future becomes a continuation of your past. But the moment you become aware of this, you have a choice to be greater than your body is, to no longer let it pull you back into cravings, reactions, or emotional states that no longer serve you. To be greater than time is to stop measuring your transformation by the clock and instead live in the timeless space of the present moment. This is where change truly happens, not in yesterday's regret or tomorrow's worry, but in the now. When you rise above the limitations of your story, your habits, and your conditioning, you begin to access a new dimension of self, a future self that's not anchored to who you were, but inspired by who you're becoming. That is the path of true evolution. That is the essence of real, lasting change. When you affirm, I radiate love, gratitude, and coherence into the field, you're tapping into the profound truth that your internal state affects not just your biology, but your environment. Every emotion you feel creates a measurable electromagnetic signal that your heart sends out into the field around you. And that field, what some call the quantum field, others call the unified field, responds to the energy you emit. You are not separate from the world around you. You are influencing it constantly through your state of being. Love, gratitude, and coherence are elevated emotional states that have a powerful effect on your brain and heart. When you feel these emotions, not just think about them, but genuinely feel them, you create harmony between your heart and brain. That harmony or coherence is not just a nice feeling. It's a signal to the universe that you are no longer in survival mode. You're in creation. And in that state, the body begins to heal, the mind becomes clear, and your energy becomes magnetic. Most people emit signals of fear, anxiety, frustration, or doubt, and then wonder why they keep attracting the same types of experiences. But the moment you begin to embody elevated emotions without needing anything outside of you to change, you take back creative control. You're no longer reacting to life. You're influencing it. To radiate love is to move beyond judgment and separation. To radiate gratitude is to express trust in the unfolding of your life. And to live in coherence is to send a stable, consistent signal that aligns with the future you want to experience. These energies are not weak. They are transformative. When you hold them within you, they ripple outward and shape your reality in ways that defy logic and exceed expectation. That's the true power of living from the heart. The affirmation, every cell in my body is being renewed with light and intelligence, speaks to the deep connection between consciousness and biology. Your body is not just a collection of tissues and organs, it's an intelligent system that responds to your thoughts, emotions, and intentions in real time. When you think and feel in elevated ways, you literally begin to change your biology, activating genes, releasing healing chemicals, and influencing how your body repairs and regenerates itself. Every thought you think has a frequency. Every emotion you feel produces a chemical signature. Negative emotions like stress, fear, and resentment flood the body with cortisol and adrenaline, chemicals meant for survival, not healing. Over time, this weakens the immune system and drains your energy. But when you begin to feel elevated emotions like love, joy, and inspiration, your body releases a different cocktail, one that promotes growth, rejuvenation, and cellular repair. Your body is constantly renewing itself. Cells are dying and being born in every moment. The question is, what energy are you providing for that renewal? When you affirm that your cells are being renewed with light and intelligence, you're choosing to shift from a state of unconscious survival to conscious creation. You're inviting your body into harmony, coherence, and health. Light is symbolic of awareness, clarity, and life force. Intelligence refers to the innate wisdom within you, the same intelligence that beats your heart, digests your food, and heals your wounds. When you connect to that intelligence through intention, meditation, and elevated emotion, You begin to communicate with your body in a new way. You're no longer trying to force healing. You're allowing it. You're participating in it. And the body, as the faithful servant of the mind, responds with vitality, resilience, and renewal. Healing then becomes not just possible, but inevitable. The affirmation, abundance flows to me because I am aligned with abundance, is not about wishing for wealth or hoping for external change. It's about recognizing that abundance is a state of consciousness, of frequency that you can tune into and embody. Most people chase abundance from a place of lack. They focus on what they don't have. And that emotional state of lack, whether it's fear, frustration, or unworthiness, becomes the signal they send into the field. And because the quantum field responds to emotion as much as thought, they end up attracting more of the same emptiness. True abundance is not just money. It's a feeling of wholeness, of fullness, of being connected to something greater than yourself. When you align with abundance, you're not aligning with a dollar amount. You're aligning with the energy of having enough, being enough, and trusting that life supports you. And the moment you truly feel that, without needing physical evidence, you've already begun to change your electromagnetic signature. Your body and mind begin to shift. You start seeing opportunities where there were once obstacles. You begin to act from inspiration rather than desperation. And as you maintain this elevated state, your external world begins to reflect your internal reality. You meet new people, attract unexpected resources, and find yourself in the right place at the right time, not by accident, but because your energy is drawing those experiences to you. You don't need to control the how. You only need to become the version of you who already feels abundant. And when that alignment is real, when it's felt deep in your heart and embodied in your actions, abundance no longer becomes something to pursue. It becomes something that flows to you effortlessly, naturally, as a reflection of who you've chosen to become. When you affirm, I trust the unknown, because the unknown is where all possibilities exist, you're stepping into the essence of transformation. Most people are conditioned to cling to what's familiar, repeating the same routines, thoughts, and emotions because the known feels safe. But personal evolution, healing, and true creation never happen in the familiar. They happen in the unknown, the space beyond your current reality, where infinite potential lives. The unknown is uncomfortable because it lacks predictability. The mind, trained by survival and past experience, resists it. It wants to know outcomes. It wants to stay in control. But growth demands surrender. The moment you release your attachment to how things should unfold, you open yourself to how they could unfold, often in ways far greater than your imagination. In the unknown, you're no longer relying on your senses to define reality. You're trusting your inner world, your intention, your energy, your elevated emotion to shape your external experience. This is where true magic happens. It's not chaos, it's pure potential. It's the quantum field responding to who you are being, not what you are doing. When you trust the unknown, you begin to live as your future self, not your past self. You stop needing guarantees and start living in alignment with possibility. This is how synchronicities happen. This is how unexpected doors open, not because you forced them, but because your energy invited them. Letting go of control is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's knowing that when you fully surrender the need to predict or force outcomes, you step into flow. You create space for new experiences to come in. And in that sacred space, the universe often delivers something far better than anything your past could have ever imagined. The affirmation, I surrender the how and focus on the who I am becoming, speaks directly to one of the most common obstacles in personal growth, the need to control every detail of how things unfold. Most people obsess over strategy, timing, and outcomes. They believe that if they can just figure out how something will happen, they'll feel safe or successful. But this mindset often stems from fear and scarcity. It traps you in the analytical mind, the survival brain that wants certainty and control. Real transformation begins when you shift your focus away from external logistics and toward internal evolution. Instead of asking, how will it happen? Start asking, who am I becoming in this process? The person who already has what you desire, the health, the relationship, the abundance, does not need to obsess over the how. They already embody the qualities that attract those outcomes. So your job is to become that person now through thought, emotion, and behavior. When you focus on your identity, on embodying confidence, love, trust, patience, you align your energy with your desired future. And the more you align, the more naturally the how reveals itself. Ideas flow, people show up, paths appear. Not because you chase them, but because you magnetize them through who you've chosen to be. Surrendering the how is not about being passive. It's about taking inspired action from a place of alignment, not desperation. It's about letting the universe co-create with you. The field responds to who you are, not just what you want. So if you stay focused on becoming, the doing and the having will follow. In that space of trust and alignment, manifestation is no longer effortful. It becomes a natural byproduct of who you are. The affirmation today, I live in a beautiful state of wholeness, worthiness, and joy, is a declaration of emotional sovereignty. It's choosing to no longer wait for external conditions to validate your internal experience. Most people are taught to believe that joy comes after success, that worthiness must be earned, and that wholeness depends on fixing what's broken. But these are illusions rooted in survival consciousness. Beliefs that keep you chasing fulfillment instead of embodying it. Wholeness is your natural state. You were never broken. You were conditioned to believe you were. Worthiness isn't something to achieve. It's something to remember. And joy doesn't come from acquiring things. It flows from connection to yourself, to others, to life. The power of this affirmation lies in its immediacy. It doesn't say, someday I will feel whole. It says, today I am. That shift in language rewires your nervous system. It signals to your body and brain that the experience is already here. When you live from this elevated emotional state, you move out of survival and into creation. Your thoughts become more expansive. Your heart becomes more open. Your energy becomes coherent. And in that state, you become a magnet for experiences that match your elevated frequency. You stop searching for things to complete you because you realize nothing is missing. This doesn't mean life is perfect. It means you are no longer dependent on the outside world to feel complete inside. From that place, you don't just attract better outcomes. You handle life with more grace and clarity because you're operating from a foundation of inner truth. Living in wholeness, worthiness, and joy isn't an end goal. It's a daily choice. And when you make that choice consistently, life begins to reflect that beauty back to you in ways you never imagined.